space.
How to understand the true meaning of traditions? Dr. AbuSulayman takes us through several examples and his own works.
I wrote a book called The Theory of Islamic Economics, Philosophy and Contemporary Means. In that work, I took all the traditions and verses of the Qur'an related to economics, and I tried to see if there is an understanding which fit all this without applying three methods used by the old ulama. These three, some of this tradition has been dismissed as abrogated. When I looked at it as a student of economics, I found they did not understand these traditions, and they did not understand in which way is related. The second one was making tricks so it would to avoid some traditions. The third way was just to ignore. You don't say it is not true, but you don't understand, you ignore. The example of the first one, that the Prophet ﷺ, always in Medina, in the Muslim society, prohibit renting land on basis of sharing the crops, and he called it riba. That is not allowed. But we find the Prophet ﷺ made sharing crop with the Jewish people in Khaybar, that is outside Medina, another place, not too far away. And they said this is the last thing the Prophet has done. So that means whatever before, it doesn't apply. This is not true, because the first traditions apply to the internal economy. The Khaybar application was in international or external economy, and they have two different aspects. In internal economy, we find that the state may give the land free, may give even subsidy, minimize taxes, because whatever you do, it will reflect on others. It creates jobs, it may create strategic industry. That's totally different. But if you give your land or your money to another society far away from you, and nothing for your resources, that is not fair. The fair thing is they use the land in this case and get their share from the crop, either high or low. So no injustice to be done to the people using the land. So they are not abrogating each other. They are totally different. The example of the trick that the Prophet ﷺ once was passing, and so one of his companions called Rafi' ibn Khudayj, cultivating a piece of land. He said, whose land and whose work? He said, it is my work and the seeds, and the land belong to somebody. He said, take the worth of your work and seeds and give back the land. You committed riba. That is unacceptable kind of deal. We find then how they deal with this. They don't understand what is the idea behind this. So what they have done, some of these ulama, they said, if the work and seeds from one side and the land from another, that is riba, because that is how the tradition said. Now, if the work from one side and the land and the seeds from the other is okay. Now, without explaining what the importance of the seeds to be here or there to change the rule, that is a kind of trick. And the third case, it is the tradition of Usama ibn Zayd, who said riba is only in getting more for time, not for work, not for anything else. The ulama did not understand that, and they kept what we call riba al-nawa. That is, that you always get, we have riba al-nasi'ah and the other riba, where you are not allowed to exchange the basics of that time, like grain, like dates, and except for equal amounts. Now, to get equal amounts for these basics, this is not possible, because it happens only in two cases. One, when it is you are exchanging the same quality, and that's no point in that exchange. Or it happens by chance that 1 for 1 is acceptable. They did not understood what the Prophet was trying to do. The Prophet ﷺ came to a society where primitive, no state, no money, and it used partial deals as basic, and partial deals cannot allow economy to grow. You have to have money. So you will be able to expand. And he tried to do that by putting these 6 basics equal to equal, make it almost impossible. And that you see another tradition will explain to you this unique and marvelous policy. They told him that your governor or your officer in Khaybar takes 1 measure of certain date for 2 measures of different kind. He said, does he do that? They said, yes. He said, call him for me. The man came, he asked him, do you take 1 for 2? He said, yes, because they won't sell 1 for 1. It is 2 different kind. He didn't tell him really this is wrong, but he made the point. He said, sell this one for money and buy with the money the other one. So that was really, so riba al-fadl should be no more riba. And that is where they did not realize this, and they ignore the tradition of Usama ibn Zayd. Anyway, this experience, as a matter of fact, also you can see, the policy of the Prophet ﷺ, which shows how it is marvelous if you understand the circumstances and not try to apply it again, same again in different situation. In that simple society, limited society, and you want now to use money, you need to bring money which are acceptable to people. That is gold and silver at the time. Now, how he will get this money for these people? There are 2 ways. Either you make minerals and mines and bring gold, or you can make surplus in your trade and get gold and silver for that. Now, that was both impossible at the circumstances of Medina. So what he did, simple order that gold is not to be exchanged except for the equal amount of gold. Same thing with silver. That immediately make it money, because you cannot do anything with it and get any money out of that. That immediately make it money. So he provide the money in a very simple manner at that time. One tradition shows the difference between commerce and monetary policy here. Muawiyah, the companion who came to Islam in the last year, and he is a merchant from Quraysh. He was appointed governor of Damascus, and there was Abu Darda, an older Sahaba. He was there, so Muawiyah sold a piece of ornament with more than its weight. As a merchant, of course, it worth more. So Abu Darda told him, gold is equal for equal. He said, but it is an ornament. He said, I tell you that the Prophet ﷺ said that, and you say this is my opinion, I won't stay with you in one place. And went back to Medina and told the Khalifa Umar what happened. Umar radiallahu anh wrote to Muawiyah, gold is equal for equal. That is how we can understand these policies. Nowadays, when gold is no more money, what to do with gold if you don't use it for other purposes? It will be a mistake to stick to the same until in different circumstances. Anyway, this experience made me very much aware of time and space and how to look into the traditions